Alright, welcome back to the second video. So you've identified three problems so far. What we want to focus on is how you frame that problem. So here are three example ones. The University of Denver doesn't pay its staff enough. There's too little shelter for the homeless, and Nigeria hasn't constructed enough roads. Various, obviously, levels of policy, various different topics, various different ideas. The problem with the way these problems are phrased is it has a solution built in. So we'll talk about why this is important in just a second, but the University of Denver doesn't pay its staff enough is a problem, so the obvious solution is built in, we need to pay its staff more. Or there's too little shelter for the homeless, well, the way you solve that is you build more shelter. Nigeria hasn't constructed enough roads, you build more roads. You get the point. The better way to frame these kinds of problems is DU staff only earns $10 an hour. And I would contend that that probably needs a second sentence that says, this is not enough to afford living in Denver. Or maybe even just DU staff cannot afford to live in Denver. Okay? Denver has too many homeless families. Nigeria is experiencing high rates of terrorism. Road building has to do with terror in these developing countries. So what you want to make sure is that even if you have identified a problem or an issue, moving forward from now, you want to be able to frame the problem correctly. And there are a couple ways to do this. In deficit or excess, so it's too high, too low, too many, too few, what have you, using too, TOO, as a way to signify that this is a problem. You can also talk about market or systems failure. So if the market isn't doing something correctly, or if there's like monopoly concentrations, or we're not solving for pollution, or what have you. And also we could talk about systems failures, that current institutions like the education system or maybe global institutions for development are failing the people that they're supposed to be helping. And we need to intervene in this system with a new policy change to make the system function better. And if you can, when you frame the problem, and this is appropriate for some problems, so you should quantify it. So to actually go back to here, DU staff only earning $10 an hour is quantified. Okay. But Denver has too many homeless families is good because it has a deficit or excess. It says, it's too many homeless families. The solution is not obvious. You could also say Denver has, I don't know, 10,000 homeless families. That's a lot of homeless families if that's true, right? If you can quantify it, that makes the problem ever more present. It makes it more impactful. It makes it more issue focused. So when you take a research, or when you take an issue, you need to research it. You need to find news articles and academic journals and policy papers and other evidence to show that your identified issue is actually a problem. Okay, so it's great to say that something is an issue, and some of the three issues that you've already taken can be issues, and they can be, but if you can't show it's actually a problem, it's really difficult to convince someone to solve that problem. So the key question is, what are the key areas you need to show exist? So I have two examples. One, if I wanted to focus on homelessness in Denver, that's something I really want to focus on. I should probably be able to show the number of homeless individuals or families in Denver. I should probably find policies attempted in the past that are so far inadequate because it's still an issue. Perhaps why homelessness is persistent, perhaps why homelessness happens. Those kinds of questions you need to ask yourself, these kinds of areas you need to find data for. Or maybe I want to focus on teenage pregnancy and say, well, okay, what are teen pregnancy rates in Colorado? That's an important information to have. How about contraception access? Even sex education. How about what's the impact of teen pregnancy? Why is this an issue? What are the impacts on financial or familial or career areas in life? And policies, again, attempted in the past that are currently inadequate if teenage pregnancy is still an issue. Again, these are like policies attempted in the past kind of go under the umbrella systems failures because the system as designed right now is failing as its citizens or as its people, and we have to intervene and introduce something new to solve that problem. So what you need to do is take the three issues that you already have and complete research on them. Okay? Select one to focus on, based primarily on access to data show it's a problem. Now, again, you may have just come up with one top choice and two alternates. That's fine. Just make sure your top choice has enough data to show that this is an issue. We want to convince someone that this is a problem. And then what you'll want to do is write a 1 or 2 sentences that defines that problem without the solution built in. Again, remember, deficit or excess, market systems failures, and try and quantify if possible. Make sure to do that before the next video.